the way the game's turned now, where it's stuff over pitching. We're throwers instead of pitchers. And so,
what's going on, folks? I'm Scott Churchton, Streampunk Sports, in this case, Streampunk Baseball, chatting with 12-year former Major League catcher, former World Series champion, congratulations, and current manager of the Sussex Miners in the Frontier League, Mr. Chris Widger. Sir, how are you, man?
I'm doing very good. How are you?
Good. So talk to me a little bit right now. I want to basically focus a little bit more on the leadership side of it when it comes to stuff like this. Like I said, you spent 12 years in the bigs. You're a manager now. Congratulations on that. Talk a little bit from a player to coach transition, what that's like, the mentality, the attitude, and the challenges that frankly come with it.
It's harder. As a coach, you don't have control. You know, you prepare your guys as well as you can. And once they go on the field, they got to play the game. You know, we don't have, you know, as a player, you can kind of have a say in the outcome with your play, with what you do on the field. Defensive play, it could be a lot of things. As a coach, I think it's overrated what we can do in game. In game, we can run our bullpen. You know, we can try to set our lineup the right way. But at the end of the day, you got 9 guys on the field that got to go out and make plays, and you kind of sit back and hope you have them prepared, have guys in the right position to succeed. And after that, it's up to them.
A lot more anxiety inducing.
Sometimes it is. You know, when you play, you just play. I know the last few years that I was a player, they were the easiest in my career. I felt like I was kind of playing with house money a little bit, where my career had gone. So I just enjoyed playing the game. I didn't let, you know, strikeouts or losses or that kind of stuff affect me maybe as much as it did earlier in my career. As a coach, you want to see your guys succeed. Here, probably more than even in affiliated ball, because here, these guys, some of them haven't gotten a chance anywhere else, and you gave them the opportunity to come here. You're in the locker room with them a lot more here. Our guys live real close to the field here, so they spend a lot of time together, long bus rides. So you just hope they do well, and you root for them as a fan part of the time.
That's the other side of it too. I mean, you guys have a 100-game season here. You're traveling all the way through from basically the Illinois area all the way up to Quebec. You know, you're in New Jersey in this particular case. You have such a tight bond in this particular case because you have a bunch of guys right now that, like you said, don't really, you know, have never really gotten the shot at the higher level that you've been at. So there is a great deal of unity amongst the average player. You know, still a lot of talent, still a lot of, you know, great skill set there. But it's a great deal of unity because of the fact that these guys are they're all in the same boat in a lot of ways. And I think that helps them.
They are. There's no first round money here. There's no top prospects. There's no guys you have to play for a certain reason. There's no guys that have to play a certain amount of innings or bat somewhere in the order. This is just, we have 24 guys here that are all trying to get to affiliated ball. You know, we have a handful here, probably 8 to 10 that have had a taste of affiliated ball. We have 2 guys that have gotten as high as AA. So their goal is to get back. But a lot of our guys, half of them have never been to affiliated ball. Their goal was to get there. And so they all kind of pull in the same direction. They can lean on some of those, I guess you quote unquote, older guys that are, you know, 26, 27. But the other guys, some of them are fresh out of college. I have 2 brand new guys out of college. Have been here for a week, 10 days now. They just got done their college season, and here they are playing professional baseball, and they want an opportunity to play. Nice. Affiliated ball, there's only 20 rounds now. You know, the average fan doesn't know that, you know, when I played, there's 58 rounds plus your free agents that are signing. There was probably 230 minor league players per organization then. There's 165 per organization now. So there's not as many spots. It's really cut back. It went down to 180 last year in affiliated ball. They lost 2 teams. The short season teams, A-ball teams, were cut out. And now you're looking at 165 minor leaguers per organization. So the spots are coveted.
Really? No kidding. Yeah. Also, in this case here, when you came up in the 90s, well, I don't know if the international pool was as big either. You know, nowadays they have so much of a draw internationally on the major league level that they pull from pretty much 6 of the 7 continents. You know, I don't know if you had that necessarily when you came up back with Montreal.
You had it, and we're in Montreal. I got a taste of it simply because I know we had 12 countries represented on our team.
Mhm.
But it was mostly Latin America at that time.
Mhm.
Your Latin players from Colombia, Panama, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. I mean, they've always been there, but now you have Japanese players and Taiwanese players and Australian players, and you know they're coming from all over, and it's good for the game. It
Mhm.
spreads the game, but at the same time, when you have that player pool that's down to 160 per team, and you have the international players coming in too, you have a lot of guys in the States that are looking for places to play, and that's where independent professional baseball comes in.
Sure, absolutely. And in this case here, like I said, you got a lot of these guys that are so united. In the off season, obviously they have a regular job of some sort. It's also in some ways tougher too because they might be somewhere in Iowa, tomorrow, and then suddenly have to reroute and just find a new job over there, find a new place to live. It's a little easier when you're making 5, 6, 10, $40 million a year to figure out the financial situation. Not so easy when you're Frontier League or independent ball.
Yeah, it is tough. If you play affiliated ball today, most of the minor league players are getting paid year round now. I think there's a 6-week period where they're not getting paid in the off season. Makes their training in the off season a lot easier. They can go ahead and they can concentrate on their baseball and their lifting and doing those kinds of things. For these guys, they're only getting paid for 4 months. You're getting paid for as much as you're playing. So, if you're making the average of, $1,400 or $1,500 here a month, you've got to go home and you got to do something else. But at the same time, you're chasing the same dream that everybody else is. And you have to find the time, to work full time to pay your own bills, as well as do all your work that everybody else is doing.
Now, in your case right now, obviously the leadership side of it, how many hours a week do you think you're putting in on that? What's your general schedule in this case?
We're on the same schedule as affiliated ball here. We're every Monday
I
off.
meant you personally, basically the study, reviewing footage, game plan, all that kind of stuff.
A lot less.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do a whole lot of that in affiliated ball either because you have 6 coaches per team now. So as a manager, you're kind of overseeing everybody. The hitting does the hitting, the pitching does the pitching, and the base running, and you have everybody does their own thing now. So here I get to work with everybody, which is fun. We don't study video as much. We have the data, we have the metrics for the pitchers and the hitters, and we have all that stuff. My job, though, I look at it as player development here for a lot of these guys. I would rather them learn their swing and learn themselves first, how to play the game the right way. And then as they get better as a player, as they get into affiliated ball, they'll learn all that stuff. All that numbers and worrying about the video and preparing for guys on the other team. I want them to pitch to their strengths instead of the other team's weaknesses. And it's the same thing with our hitters. I work more on our strengths and not worry about the other team as much here.
Nice. A lot less micromanagement. I know Buck Showalter had talked about something where the execs would come down. We need to rest this guy because he ran from second to third. We, stretched it into a triple. He needs off the next day. And I know that kind of stuff infuriated him. So I imagine you have a lot less of that to deal with as well.
Yeah, it's a lot more feel here, which is fun for me. It's kind of back to baseball as a coach, as a manager. You coach your guys, you see them getting tired, you talk to them, you actually have conversations about how you feeling. You see them in the locker room, you call them in the office. It's not looking at the metrics or, we used to wear, they used to wear hockey pucks when I was in the minor leagues in my last affiliated job, and they fit in their back, and it was a GPS tracker, and it tracked all their movements, how many throws they made, how fast they ran, how much top speed they ran. It tracked everything they did. And then you would get these messages from the front office, from the exercise physiology people. Hey, this guy needs a day off because he ran X amount of, high-end steps yesterday. Well, yeah, he was playing center field and they hit 6 doubles and he had to run in the gap. And so, yeah, we knew that. But yeah, it's not that way here. It's more by feel. It's a little more old school.
There's been talk in Major League Baseball about requiring Major League pitchers to do 6 innings, barring giving up a certain number of runs or pitch count. The idea, generally speaking, is to try and curtail the number of injuries that are happening from keeping people from basically throwing 100, 101 miles an hour. What is your take on this rule?
I don't think you have enough time in your show for what I think about all that stuff. I just had a meeting with my guys yesterday. Our pitchers hadn't been going as long in games. Obviously, my guys don't throw 100 miles an hour. They're expected to go 6+. They're expected here that even in independent ball, your job is to go out there and pitch into the 7th inning as a starter. Obviously, it's not going to happen all the time. But when you're averaging, what were we averaging, 5.1, over the past however many weeks we were here, you can't sustain that with your bullpen. And you have bullpen guys that are just coming out and they're throwing as hard as they can. They're not really pitching. They're not making pitches, not ripping anybody for that kind of thing. But it's the way the game's turned now, where it's stuff over pitching. We're throwers instead of pitchers. And so I think that's where we've come. We don't expect pitchers to pitch into the 6th and 7th. Hey, give me my 5. Hey, give me 4+. Give me 2 times through the order. Where if you go back in the day, they were expected to do that. So instead of looking at the dugout, hey, I'm ready to come out of the game after 90 pitches, you were expected to throw 100, 110, 115, 120. But it was also expected to be 7+ innings when you threw that many pitches. Now, if they throw 105 innings and they have 8 strikeouts and 4 walks, and hey, you kept us in the game, that's acceptable. And I just don't think that, if you're getting paid 15 or 20 or $25 million a year, that's good enough. That's like asking, Albert Pujols back in the day, hey, give me 3 good at bats and then we'll get you out, kind of thing. People expect more. And I just think that that's the way the game's going. I don't know that there's any turning back the clock. I hope they do, though.
Nice. Actually, that's a great take. I love it. I'm very interested in that. Thank you. All right, now we've been here about 11 minutes. I wanted to respect your time in this case. You got the game against New England tonight. Do you have any final thoughts or anything else you want to add?
No, I just if I could spread it a little bit about independent baseball. I'm happy to be here. I chose to be here. I was not offered a contract with Kansas City, but this is where I like to be. This is where people have to understand that independent baseball is professional baseball. There's leagues all over the country. People call it semi-pro. People call it, are they going to get called up to the major leagues? This is like a minor league team. And these guys have the same dreams as a guy in AA with the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're playing the same game with the same baseball and the same dimensions of baseball field. So I hope people understand that and they come out. It's not a college summer league team. It's professional baseball, and these guys are pretty good.
Nice. In this case, obviously, Raj hit a homer last night. I think Corey did too. You've got a good squad of guys there. And that's the other side of it too. You have this tight-knit group, and it has a softer feel to it. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that these guys aren't making $20 million a year. That is just a bunch of average guys, kind of like the old days when you're a kid growing up. You get a bunch of people, you go to a field and you just play. And I like that part of it. I really do.
It is. They're really playing it for the love of the game, for the dream of where they could be. They don't get the best meals after each game, and they don't have the best transportation. And we're traveling from here. We'll go all the way to Schaumburg on the west side of Chicago. So you're looking at a 14-hour bus drive. So they really are playing the game because they love it. They go home, they sacrifice, and they work their jobs in the off season. And, I brought 19 guys out of 24 back from last year. So to be able to have that camaraderie in the clubhouse, to have the guys come back, they pull for each other. They play for each other. They live in the same area. It's a special feeling, and at the end of the year, it's tougher to leave them.
Yeah, but thanks, Coach. Appreciate the time. Thank you. Good luck tonight. Good luck the rest of the season, and stay awesome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
My privilege. Take care now.
Take care.